This here is the all-new Citroen C5 Aircross, and you might say, well, why has Citroen updated it so fast? They just launched this car about a year ago, and the reason for that, of course, is that the sales are very poor. In fact, they're really pathetic because they only sell about 30 or 40 cars per month compared to other rivals which still manage to sell about 500 odd cars. And no one knows what the reason for that is, because this car is loaded. It's classy in terms of looks, it's sophisticated in terms of interiors, it has a very powerful engine, very good ride comfort, but even then people don't tend to buy it, probably because they prefer the flash of other rivals out there. And for that reason, Citroen has sent this car to me right at the end, because I think I also am a little bit like Citroen. I have the same kind of qualities, but unfortunately a lot of people don't come to this channel anymore. Anyways, that's enough for me lamenting about the YouTube situation these days. Let me get to the driving bits of this car, take it out for a spin, drive it around, and then tell you how good it is and why you should consider buying it. My name is Ashish Masih. If you've come to this channel for the first time, please subscribe. And if you've come here for the 10th time or the 20th time, you've already bought a car watching our reviews, then please tell all your friends about us and do help us get our subscribers speed back up. Let's get started with the video. Well, I'm sure by now all of you are aware that Woodmore are the online expert when it comes to spare parts, and the best point is that they have the spare parts for all vehicles available in India. So even if your car is out of production now, maybe you have a large generation model, even then they have the spare part available, they have the entire catalog, and the best point is that they have the same spare part from a host of different component makers, which gives you great flexibility in the pricing overall. So check them out today, check out the app, it's available both for iOS as well as Android devices, and also check out the website for the latest schemes as well as offers. Well, so as soon as you step inside the cabin of the C5 Aircross, you'll just be wowed with the sheer design. Yes, this is a fantastic car in terms of design elements. It feels very European, very upmarket, and very swish and very modern. You'll just love the design factor. And if you've been traveling a lot on European airlines, you know, Lufthansa, Finnair, Swissair, any of those airlines, you'll get a very similar kind of vibe inside the cabin. It's very European in the overall sense. The seat comfort is something which is truly exemplary and way ahead of all its other rivals, the Tucson, the Jeep, every other rival in this same price bracket. Seat comfort is better. In fact, the seat comfort is even better than the Toyota Fortuner, which sells a little more at a premium price. So that is one area where this car is ahead. Design, again, as I said, is very good. The quality also is absolutely top notch. Top of the dashboard, you know, the top of the toe pads, everything is made from very soft touch materials. The steering wheel is very nice to grip, and if you have a look at the steering wheel, you realize that it's not completely round from the top and the bottom. It's curved out a bit. It's curved a bit over there, so it definitely feels very nice in that sense as well. Paddle shifters are huge, so you can operate them even while turning the car. And this center console over here is very big and very prominent, so both the passengers have their own space, and it really feels like a cockpit inside the cabin. Lots of buttons, toggle type switches for the gears, and of course different driving modes. Everything has a nice and tactile feel. Special mention has to be made about the fact that over here you get these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons, and from this you can control the touchscreen, because you do this, you go into the menu for the car features and the functions. This of course is for the maps, this is for the air conditioning, this is for the music and stereo and stuff like that, this is for the telephone, and this is generally connectivity for the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Very easy to use and very nice to look at it as well, and it's not laggy, quite a quick responding touchscreen as well. The only bit of negative that I found inside the car is the gauges, and no car is really perfect. The gauge design, it's too cluttered and not as good as the overall ambience of the car. A lot of it's completely digital, so that's something which is positive, but it's too cluttered. You know, you can't figure out everything in the first go. You have to give it a very thorough look and understand which thing is where. So that's something which is a big negative, I think, because the car is otherwise so stylish. Citroen should have paid attention to the design of the gauges. Other than that, seat comfort is exceptional. Overall, utility places are good because this is a huge and deep box. Couple of beverage holders, place to keep your knickknacks, and big door bins to house the bottles. The glove box is a little tiny, but because this one is big, so no issues in the least over there as well. I'm pretty impressed overall with the design elements of the car, the feel-good factor, and just that whole European vibe gives this car a very nice interior. 10 out of 10 to the cabin of the Citroen C5 Aircross. Now let's jump inside the back seat and see how good that really is. Well, so let's talk about the second row of the Citroen C5. Well, so now let's talk about the second row of the Citroen C5. Now, in terms of the overall space, it's quite good, and the seat comfort also is generally very good. Very nice and cushiony seats, and the backrest angle, support for your under thighs. everything is spot on. It's also a wide car, so you generally have place to occupy 3 over here. The AC went subtruding out a bit, so in case you're running out in a hurry, sometimes your knee might just crash into it if you're moving out from this side, but that's really a nitpicking issue. It's not a big deal. Floorboard is flat, AC vents are there, USB charger is there, so good place to have occupants over here. The only negative is that there's no armrest because all these seats are individual seats and you can slide them up or down individually. So that's something which is quite good. In case you have a lot of luggage at the back, maybe one of the passengers can move around. If there's a kid, he can move around or she can move around. But yes, some of you might say, where is my armrest? Now that's something which Citroen hasn't thought about because this again is a European car and it's more built for European taste. Indians though do prefer that armrest to be there. So in that case, you'll have to carry a couple of pillows and just sit here and relax without the armrest. That's the only bit of negative. Otherwise, seat comfort is truly exceptional, even in the second row seats. Well, so let's quickly show you the boot of this car, the dicky of this car, and to do that, all I do is press this button over here behind the Citroen badge above the number plate. It is a powered tailgate, so that's another big benefit. Your chauffeur will always be happy with you for buying this car because he won't have to do some heavy lifting. And once you open up the boot, you can see it's a nice and square and spacious boot, lots of place to keep your odds and ends. There's a bit of a place here, tray over here where you can keep some small elements or maybe hide those chocolates from your kids if you don't want to give it to them, and same over here as well. Now, apart from being nice and spacious, the good point is that there's no ledge, so you can easily slide in and slide out all your stuff. That's something which we'll appreciate. And of course, you also get a Michelin Primacy full-size spare wheel. That's also something which is quite good about this car, and a lot of people will appreciate that as well. So, if your mother-in-law is coming from Canada or from the hills and she wants to stay with you for a couple of weeks, then you should welcome her because the car's load carrying capacity is big enough to accommodate all your luggage for the entire month. And of course, the big positive is this powered tailgate. Anyways, now enough talking about the looks and the features and the interiors. Let's jump to the driving bits, drive this car around and tell you how it is to drive. Well, so I'm now driving the Citroen C5 Aircross, and the biggest strength of this car is its brilliant ride comfort. Yes, the ride on the Citroen is absolutely phenomenal. It's the best riding car, not only at this price, but also I would say at a price 10 or 20 lakh rupees beyond. And that's something which a lot of customers really appreciate. I think it's even better than cars like the Toyota Fortuner, which really have earned a very good reputation for ride, and even the Innova, which roughly retails for about 25 lakh, 26 lakh rupees for the top end. So yes, the comfort is definitely better than both those cars. What's also quite good about this car is the fact that visibility all across is excellent. Yes, the rear visibility from this mirror is a little muted because you see that big pop-up head restraint. So from center over here, you might want a little better visibility, but side mirrors are large and chunky. The camera is quite good, and you can see the entire bonnet line, which really gives you good visibility. So for people who are driving the first time or who've just learned how to drive, there will not be any kind of underconfidence in this car because you can see the edges of the bonnet quite nicely, and that is something which people will really appreciate and like about this car. What else is there to like? Well, you'll also like the pedal shifters, which are very quick responding. Only negative is that they're fixed on the steering column. They aren't moving around with the steering like they do on the other cars. So that's the only bit of negative. But apart from that, I think they're quite nice to use because the shifts are quite fast. The negative, I said, because when you move this car and you want to turn it, these are fixed. So if you want to change a gear, if you're planning to go up the hills and you're in the hills and you lose traction, then how will you change the gear in case you want to do it in manual mode? Automatically, in case it doesn't change gear, we'll have to do it like this. So that's something which can be a little bit of an inconvenience, but I think people will get the hang of it and get used to it after a while. Ride comfort, as I said, is truly good. Now it's a diesel engine which makes about 174 bhp and about 400 Nm of torque. Torque figures are not an issue, and the power output is also quite good. There's no petrol on sale, there's no hybrid or stuff like that on the hill just as yet. But the issue is that it's a little lazy to respond to your input. So below 1500, 1600 RPM, it's a little lazy, and after 2000 RPM, it does get going. So that is one issue which you will have to live with. But yes, the mid-range, like a typical common rail diesel engine, is very good. And I would say that before these diesel engines go out of fashion completely in the next 2-3 years, 5 years, I think it's time you should invest in one and just experience the nice torque output, because if you go up the hills, you're on a climb, the torque is what will keep you going and really do a good job. So that's something you need to keep in stride and keep in mind. What else is there enjoyable about this car? Well, body roll is there. So if you push into corners, you will definitely see a lot of body roll. It's a tall car, and the softly sprung suspension means that body roll is there in abundance. So that's something which you have to deal with. And the other thing which you have to deal with is the fact that the diesel engine can become a little buzzy, a little noisy when you really rev it hard. It's not too much, but if you're used to a petrol or a hybrid or that kind of technology, or maybe you've not sat in a diesel for a long time, then even this little bit of noise can get a little bit annoying. It's not, as I said, too much of an issue, but yes, something with which you have to live. So these are my observations of this car today, and I think overall it's a good package. Definitely the ride comfort is a big highlight, especially on badly passive road like ours, and that's one area where this car has the advantage over all its other rivals. Now let me stop the car and give you a brief summary report, and after that we'll show you some outros. Thanks guys for watching. Well, so overall, the one word I'll use to describe this car is that this is a classy product. Yes, those are two words, but I'll still say it's a classy product. And if you're in the market for a large size SUV, premium SUV, forget everything else out there, just go ahead and buy the Citroen C5. And the reason for that is that the seat comfort is exceptional, ride quality is the best in the business, diesel engine is phenomenal, and the interiors just have that certain European poshness about themselves, a 5-star rating that really no other car can match. And of course, it also isn't very popular on the roads as yet, so the looks also are very exclusive. So my one-word review or two-word review is it's a class product. Simply go ahead and buy it. If you're a connoisseur of things which are good, classy, elegant, sophisticated, then this is a car which you definitely simply buy at a Citroen dealership. So bye for now, and thanks so much for watching this video.